What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. We got week 2 predictions. I'm here with Drake, and I think we should just get right into it. No need to dilly-dally. The first matchup we're going to start with is Jad versus Nick. And you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll start off since it's definitely the easiest one to predict.
I agree.
I got Jad. Jad's running backs are trash. Nick's running backs are great. But you just look at Jad's receiving core, and it's just money, top to bottom. Nick's receivers aren't that strong. He knows it. If he loses this week, expect Nick to make some moves. That's my opinions.
I agree with you there. Both quarterbacks have great matchups. Derek Carr is against the Jets, and Drew Brees is against the Patriots, and what I surmise will be a shootout. But obviously Nick's got the better running backs. Both with decent matchups, but Jad has his team outclassed everywhere else, from wide receiver to flex to tight end. Even defenses are kind of close, but yeah, I think Jad's got it where it counts. So
definitely doesn't help Nick that he's starting Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
No one knows what's going on in that backfield right now, and he's also.
Well, Rob will tell you it's Kamara.
Yeah, of course. He's also flexing Ebron, which.
Yeah.
Flexing tight end is never fun, man.
But yeah, I think we'll both agree that Jad's going to take this one home. The score line that I have here is 112 to 90. So, it's hard to predict scores, but I think this will be an easy win for Jad.
Honestly, predicting all these outcomes, I think, has been the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It's fantasy, man. Anything can happen. Obviously, Nick, he can pull off the win, but
we're just going off of odds here. But obviously,
put my money on Jad.
Right. All right, so let's go on to the next one. It's Derek Walker versus Mikey Martinez. And I'll go ahead and start with this one. I think Mikey's got the advantage when it comes to quarterback play. Kirk Cousins isn't a slouch against a Rams defense, but Matt Ryan against Green Bay, that game's also going to be a shootout, so I'd rather have Matt Ryan in this case. And then, I like Mikey's running backs a little better here as well with Shady and Gurley. It's not even close. I hate starting Ellington, and I typically wouldn't start Coleman, but it's a good matchup, so that could end up with some points there, but definitely would rather have Mikey's running backs. But Derek's receivers for sure I'd rather have. Brandon Marshall was horrible the first week, could have a bounce back week, and Macklin was decent. He's got Cleveland, and Hopkins had a decent game for Mikey, so those are who he's starting.
Who's the Lions' number one? Is that Darius Slay?
Yep.
I think whoever's lined up with Darius Slay all game if he shadows, especially the way Eli's playing, either Marshall or Shepard's going to see a bunch of targets.
Yeah, assuming Odell Beckham plays, but I don't think he's going to play.
Oh, yeah, but OBJ plays, and he's going to be shadowed.
Yeah.
So
I don't think OBJ
if
plays.
He shadows. But, yeah, I'm assuming not, so, Marshall, if he's matched up with Slay all game, he could have a tough matchup. He could have a tough night again.
Yeah, he might get one reception just like last week, so it's hard to say. And then for Derek's wide receivers, he's got Demaryius Thomas against Dallas, Antonio Brown against Minnesota, and T.Y. Hilton against Arizona. Obviously Antonio Brown's going to get his. His floor is probably like 20 points, especially at home. And then
like 16.
Either way, he's gonna score. And then Demaryius Thomas against Dallas, I think it's kind of a question mark. It could go either way. I think Derek really needs Demaryius Thomas to at least get a touchdown for him to win. And then I'm not comfortable starting any Colts. Doesn't matter if it's T.Y. Hilton or not. So, I think DeAndre Hopkins with the 14 points he's already got, Mikey will certainly outscore T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, I don't know if either of us actually answered this, but I'm taking Mikey.
Oh, yeah, I was getting to that. I also have Mikey.
I like his matchups. They're decent. He's got a much better RBs, obviously, as you said.
Yeah.
And Hilton, can't like him, especially against Arizona. Brown against Minnesota, it could definitely be a very competitive, lower scoring game, especially with Bradford being banged up. They could try to slow down even more. Automatic start, obviously.
Yeah.
He should be fine.
They both have decent tight ends. Jimmy Graham against San Francisco is a good matchup, and then Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce was only quiet week 1 because the Patriots game plan to shut him down.
Yeah.
And then I think that both of the flexes on both sides are sketchy.
Yeah, that's an Nantucket's league.
And then defenses both have good matchups. The Colts suck, and Mikey's got the Cardinals against them, and then the Browns the Browns, and the Ravens' defense looked good last week. So either way, I definitely think this matchup could go either way. I've got Mikey by a hair. I have it 93 to 87. And I think that the loser of this matchup is going to get axed in the Survivor Challenge. I think these will be two low-scoring teams.
I also think it helps that he had Hopkins go and 7 for 73. Not the best, but 14 points from Hopkins.
You hope for more out of your one, though.
Can't, yeah, but with that offense, you can't be mad. I think Hopkins is trending upward.
Yeah.
He's
Fair
going to
enough.
get a lot of targets. All right.
The next matchup we have is Brobst versus Trevor. Mike Brobst versus Trevor Wascatchel. Mike has already had Andy Dalton and Lamar Miller play on Thursday night. Andy Dalton got him 8 points and Lamar Miller got him 11. So not very good quarterback play out of Andy Dalton, but I mean 11 points from Lamar Miller is decent. I mean for his second running back, like not bad.
Yeah, not awful.
And I think Mariota, who Trevor has at the quarterback spot, will outscore Dalton. I think very easily, maybe even double his points.
Yeah.
And then Mike's got Le'Veon Bell to go. And I think the running back matchup here is going to be close because I think Marshawn Lynch is going to have a huge game. First game at home against the Jets. I think he'll have a great game. And then McCaffrey's got a great matchup against Buffalo. So, I mean, if Le'Veon Bell continues to struggle, I definitely think Trevor will get the better scoring out of his running backs. But if Le'Veon Bell is back to his regular self, then I think it's going to be close.
I think this matchup would be a lot easier to, put a winner on if I knew exactly what Tariq Cohen was going to do.
Yeah.
He could be, the biggest X factor in this matchup. He's got Julio going. Gills against the Saints is a good matchup.
Right.
Bennett against Atlanta can easily score. Garcon against Seattle I don't like very much.
Wallace against Cleveland's good.
Deep ball action, So yeah, I'll take. I think this might be the hardest one for me to choose.
But we got to talk about we got to talk about Mike's side here. We've got, Sammy Watkins. We still don't know what he's going to do, but
Watkins.
he's capable of scoring a lot of points. But we'll see. Diggs was great last week. We'll see if he can continue it. And
his floor is not that great this week.
yeah, Des Bryant was good against. He was okay against the Giants in Week 1. He's got a tough matchup with Denver, but if Keenan Allen can score against Denver, so can Des Bryant.
It's nice to have Larry versus Indianapolis.
Yeah, especially with John Brown out and with David Johnson out. I think Larry Fitzgerald could have 2 touchdowns this game.
Yeah, and then West against Cleveland isn't bad, but I think he's a little TD reliant.
Yeah.
I really like Buck Allen too, so
yeah.
Look out, Terrence West.
And then okay defenses. Neither of them are bad. Obviously no one's going to start out defense with a bad matchup. You'll just pick someone up off the waivers. But this is going to be another really close one. I've got Brobst 118, Trevor 110.
I didn't do points, but I got Trevor. It's gonna be. I didn't want to choose.
No, it's the first one we disagree on.
Mike, Mike might end up 0-2, and it's kind of crazy. I like his team. Hopefully he panics and trades people away. Give me Bell, please.
All right, and then we'll move on to the first matchup where neither of us have anything invested in, which is Butts versus Damien. And they both have solid quarterbacks. Russell Wilson against San Francisco is a great matchup for Damien, and then Butts has Tom Brady against New Orleans. I give the edge in the quarterback department to Butts because Tom Brady is going to bounce back. He was not very good the first week, and I think he's going to put all those rumors that he's too old to carry on to bed, especially against a bad Saints secondary. And then obviously I prefer Kyle Butts running backs to Damien's with Jay Ajayi and Melvin Gordon actually going head-to-head this week. But both teams want to run the ball, so I think that he'll get better production than Damien will out of Crowell against Baltimore and C.J. Anderson against Dallas. You agree?
Yes. And let me just say, elephant in the room. Oh, this team would look a lot better if OBJ was playing.
Yeah.
I don't personally think he's going to play this week, so it really hurts.
Yeah,
really hurts Damien.
I don't remember when it was. It was either today or a couple days ago. Odell Beckham tweeted. He said, "I don't care about your fantasy team. I'm focusing on getting healthy." So I don't think he's going to play this week.
Yeah, me neither.
But his other 2 wide receivers are good. Doug Baldwin against San Francisco, great matchup. Devontae Adams against Atlanta, great matchup.
Yeah.
But it's just a question mark who he's going to fill in OBJ's slot.
Coming into this, I was kind of leaning Butts, but looking at his 3 tight ends and his
3 wide receivers.
3 receivers, which I really like Devontae Parker. Don't get me wrong.
And I mean, Sanu's got a good matchup at least.
Yeah, but the floor's kind of there, kind of not. The upside's kind of there, kind of not. It's ugly, man.
What's surprising is ESPN has Butts projected to outscore Damian 133 to 120. So I'm going with the upset here. I think Damian's team's going to win. I think this is going to be a really high scoring week, to be honest. I think both teams will score at least 115.
I was leaning Butts, but I've been swayed. Sign me up for the upset. Come on, G2B.
The score that I've got is Damian 131, Butts 122. So Damian starting off 2-0, and then Butts starting off 0-2. And then we'll come to our matchups. The first, I have prepared yours first. So Drake has Ricky. Obviously Drake's got the big advantage here at quarterback. I mean, Jameis Winston isn't a schmuck, but he's got a good matchup against Chicago. But come on, it's Aaron Rodgers, and he's got a great matchup with Atlanta. And then I give Ricky the slight edge at running back with Carlos Hyde at Seattle and Jordan Howard. I think they're just two more quality players at their position. I mean, Seattle they struggled against Ty Montgomery week 1, so their front seven might not be as formidable as we thought. And then we really don't know about Tampa Bay this season, but the Bears don't have a ton of options on offense, so I think they're going to feed Jordan Howard. And then as for Drake's side, Theo Riddick, he's definitely a satellite back, so he'll get some work in the passing game, and I think he's a question mark. I mean, it's possible he scores 15 points, but it's also possible he gets less than 10. And
6.
Yeah, and I think Javoris Allen should be okay against Cleveland. I mean, he had 21 touches last week, so I mean
21 carries.
Yeah.
Alone.
So he's got a role, and Cleveland's not great. I mean, they stopped Le'Veon Bell, but I think that was by strategy. So, like I said, slight edge to Ricky there. I give a big advantage to Drake in the wide receiver department. I mean, the stack with Jordy Nelson and Aaron Rodgers against Atlanta should be huge. Crabtree against the Jets is huge, and we've seen Minnesota's going to feed Adam Thielen. Like, he's getting the targets. I mean, he may have not outscored Stephon Diggs last week, but he had more targets and more receptions.
And more yards.
And as your 3, I mean, that's great. And I mean,
yards.
Golden Tate was good last week, but Janoris Jenkins shut down Dez Bryant. I think Janoris Jenkins, if he's on Golden Tate, can shut him down as well. So I'm not feeling too confident about Golden Tate. Alshon Jeffrey, it's kind of a question mark. He could have a good game, but the Patriots wide receivers struggled pretty heavily against the Kansas City defense. So if Andy Reid wants to stop Alshon Jeffrey, I think they will. It just depends. I think that they'll definitely focus on the passing game more than the running game.
You look at his starting lineup, and you think about how well Chicago played against Atlanta last week. He's got some really tough matchups this week. Man.
Yeah, I like James White against New Orleans, I'm
Hyde at Seattle. Tampa Bay's had a pretty decent defense. He's got Howard.
Yeah.
Tate against the Giants.
I think
Jeffrey against the Chiefs.
I'd love to have both of your tight ends in my starting lineup, to be honest. You guys both have. I mean, they were bad last week, but they definitely can be good this week.
Greg Olsen is a tradable asset, so if you're interested, come holler at your boy.
I don't know if I'm willing to pay the price. Decker's got a tough matchup. Shepard's got a good matchup, and then like you said with Tampa Bay against Chicago, I mean, Deshaun Jackson could have a big game. He could do nothing, so he's definitely boom or bust. And then, like I said before about James White with the matchup against New Orleans, he could be relevant. So, Drake, I've got you down for the win here, 128 to 117. But I mean, I think it'll be close. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout.
No.
And then finally, you've got my matchup against Rob.
All right, let me get to that real quick. Me and Rob, I think I don't know how I feel about the quarterbacks this week. Cam Newton, I guess Buffalo should be a fine matchup. But I just feel like they just want to run the ball so much. The running backs, starting 2 running backs, you guys both have very much, a lot of quality. Still got, gotta lean Rob. He's got Zeke.
Infinite.
The local Cowboys fan, once said, the way to beat Denver is by running the ball. So he could run the ball 25, 30 times this week.
Yeah.
Fournette, I'm high on Fournette. Maybe not as high as Rob, but I like him.
No, Rob thinks he'll be top 5.
I like Montgomery a lot this week. I think you guys both have some really good matchups. and I just think he, that Dalvin Cook in the flex, especially with Bradford being banged up, I think that definitely gives him the edge in the matchup. I think the receivers, Hogan doesn't have as much floor, but I think they all have some decent upside. I think it's a really close matchup, but I'm definitely leaning Rob. I think Cook's the biggest. And Jacksonville, continues this 29-point trend they're on. You're in for some hurt.
Yeah. Well, here's the way I look at it. I give Rob the edge in running backs as well. I mean, I think my guys might have better matchups, but he has the more quality players at the position. And having as far as wide receivers go, AJ Green only scoring 11 points kind of hurts, but I think that AJ Green will outscore either Jarvis Landry or Jamison Crowder. And as far as Hogan goes, I like Hogan a lot this week with no Amendola, and obviously Julian Edelman's hurt. So, and with the matchup against New Orleans, I think Chris Hogan could be in for a big game, but he could also only get 2 points like last week. So, and then Keenan Allen against Miami. Keenan Allen appears to be back, so I'm definitely excited for that. Tight ends, I'll give Rob the advantage just because his guys are playing the Jets. And then for flex, I think Randall Cobb against Atlanta is a great matchup. And then J.J. Nelson has the perfect recipe for success right now, I think, with no David Johnson and no John Brown with a bad Colts defense.
You're not
I
worried about.
I think he could be in for a huge game.
You're not worried about Andre Ellington eating up all the touches?
No, not at all. I think this one definitely could go either way. I could certainly start 0-2, but me being confident in my own squad, I've got me down winning 121 to 116, but it'll be close. I won't be surprised if I lose a close match, win a close match. Could definitely go either way, but I prefer myself naturally.
I think if AJ Green's thing said 0 points, the game's on Sunday, I might be leaning towards you. But Green with a second bad week, only 11 points. It's not hard to match. Really sucks, man. So taking Rob.
All right, but that's all the matchups we got. Hopefully, it's an exciting week 1, I think, or week 2, because week 1 was boring and certainly not great for fantasy. So, if anything, even if I'm wrong in all my predictions, I just hope we have better football. So, we'll see you guys next week, and hopefully you enjoyed the video.
2-0.